start with an observation. Tanzania is a fast-growing market with very attractive fundamentals that are overlooked by many international investors. Um, Today, there are only a handful of VCs that actually have a team based here in Tanzania, a country with 71 million people, 87 billion US dollars in GDP, and thousands of startups, but only a handful of us. There are a couple of other VCs sitting outside and investing in Tanzania, but most of our funds are domiciled elsewhere. And why is that? Because the single biggest gap here is that until very recently, there's no a clear, specialized legal structure that is tailored for venture capital and private equity funds. So we actually we're very glad to see that the CMSA is now currently developing the draft of the VCPE framework and to fill that gap. And generally speaking, global investors would want to see familiar fund vehicles. And I'm talking about standard LP-GP structure, limited partnerships, like mentioned in the previous presentations, and also pass-through taxations, which reduce legal friction and really make cross-border participation straightforward. And that is one. And without these kind of legal setup, it's difficult for us to really domicile here, and we have to rely on workarounds, often setting up offshore. Like, for example, we're domiciled in Delaware, and I know that over 60% of East Africa's venture capital is actually structured in either Mauritius or Delaware, where there are more mature fund laws and tax clarities. So I do think that in markets like Tanzania, investability is not just about opportunities. It's about the whole legal system that allows investors to form their familiar vehicles and to protect their rights and to move capital freely and to really focus on the fundamental of the investments here. And when these frameworks align and exist, global capital will just flow in. And when they don't, it flows around.
Okay, great. That kind of naturally leads to the second questions, like what are the non-negotiable, maybe perhaps issues that investors are saying that this needs to be in place for Tanzania to be more attractive. I wouldn't say attractive, but more attractive as an investment destination, because it is quite attractive regardless of having clear framework in place.
Well, thank you for asking that. First, it's all about exits, right?
Yeah.
If you can't get money out, you won't put money in. So we would check for easy repatriation of dividends and proceeds, and transparent FX rules, minimal delays in cross-border transfers, and the ability to use pass-through structure so that our LPs won't be taxed twice. And second, the other non-negotiable is that typically a lifetime of a VC fund is 10 years, with the first 5 years focused on fundraising investments and the last 5 years focused on exits. So a predictable and consistent regulatory environment is really crucial for us. And it's also very decisive in our fundraising as well, because capital always avoids regulatory uncertainty. The last thing I want to mention is that because we as an investor invest across East Africa, we invest in 4 markets here, I think the scope of funds should not be limited to Tanzanian startups only, or a majority of Tanzanian startups, because it will deter continental or regional investors who are usually well established and have rich resources that can actually help Tanzania startups to scale beyond the border. I think foreign startups who have operations in Tanzania or intend to do so should also be considered a part of the Tanzania startup ecosystem. We have made 8 investments so far, and more than half of them foreign startups actually want to enter the Tanzania market because of the large market size and the untapped opportunities. So allowing kind of geographically diversified venture investments can help to enrich the Tanzania market with a broader range of products and services and fosters competition and then complements the ecosystem.
Well, thanks for that. My follow-on question, I suppose, then, Barrett, to you. You've worked across different frontier markets, and what structure do you think had worked best? And how could you, not necessarily compare it, and how would you see that working maybe in Tanzania?
In terms of financing?
Yes, exactly.
I guess we can all agree that, of course, what we've been hearing from the previous speakers as well, PE and VC deals in terms of regulatory environment, also from a taxation point of view and from an exit point of view, is quite challenging at the moment. But on the other hand, I think this was also mentioned previously, Salum was mentioning it, the private debt deals are going quite well. I mean, even ourselves, all the closures that we had this year, it was private debt deals. So I guess the question is, the form of capital kind of becoming more important than the structure itself. Until the regulatory environment is more welcoming for PE and VC kind of deals. But on that note, I would like to comment CMSA. I live in Tanzania for 15 years now. I've been in many different businesses, so I dealt with many different regulatory offices. And when they were designing the new regulatory framework, they actually reached out to us and they shared the draft with us for our review, and we provided our comments, and they've taken into consideration. That's an amazing thing when you look at the history of regulatory offices in Tanzania. I've never seen that before, any of the offices reaching out to ecosystem and doing that. So that is an amazing and a positive step. But at the end, once the framework has been approved, I think it will come down to alignment with the taxation matters, with TRA. Because we've seen that also, for example, with TISEZA, formerly TIC, they are promoting some deals in the form of like non-taxable. But when it comes to TRA, they are taxing it. So I think it will, I hope we will not have the same challenges with the new regulatory framework. If the alignment is there, then I think it will be good to go.
It's something that's been echoed by so many people, and I live, eat, sleep it every day as I do my job. But back to CMSA, massive credit to CMSA. They always reach out to stakeholders and try and get their inputs, which has been incredibly helpful. So we do hope that things will get formalized quite speedily so the market can continue to thrive and contribute to the Vision 2050. So my next question is policy and institutional bottlenecks. I mean, you've said that apart from alignment with, let's say, regulatory alignment and tax laws and rules, what other areas do you see are challenging for Tanzania, and how do you navigate that?
First of all, there's a tremendous progress. If you look at it until only 3 years ago, you wouldn't even hear the words or terms of private equity and venture capital.
Yeah.
Nowhere. And when you look at this last 2-3 years, you know, there's lots of forums and panels and discussions and events happening around that ecosystem. So that itself, it's an amazing progress. You can see that the ecosystem is growing. But if we, again, it will come down to very specifics, which is one, if you wanna build an ecosystem where it is welcoming to foreign investors, whether if they are institutional or individual or funds or investment banks, you name it. First, we need to handle the taxation issues before everything, even before the framework, because as long as the capital gain tax is there, as long as double taxation is happening, and as long as the exits are a challenge, the funds will not come in. Simple as that.
Yeah.
So unfortunately, it's a closed circle. Everything we discuss, it will take back us to those major problems.
That's a really good point. As I said earlier, maybe some of this is really much on interpretation, because I've seen a lot of issues along the lines of TRA and taxation issues, and then it just boils down to interpretation. So I'm hoping, even with CMSA as well, there could be some sort of dialogue, cross-agency dialogue, as we try and formalize or go, as we move to formalize the framework, where these things could be addressed and increased capital inflow. So thank you both very much. I know we're pressed for time, but thank you for being on stage and giving us your insights and enlightening us all. This discussion will definitely continue, and I'm sure we'll have discussions. I think, Barak, you're engaging with a Palladium initiative, Invest for Impact in Tanzania already. And we are handling some of the policy issues to allow investors to come and invest in Tanzania. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you both.
You're welcome. Thanks, everyone.
So next on stage to complete this, we have, do we have Godfrey from, sorry? Grayson, is it? Okay, so is it Grayson? Is he around? Okay. Oh, sorry. Oh, so please go ahead and do your introduction and tell us what you do.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Grayson Mosh. I'm working in BRELA. BRELA is a business registration and licensing agency. Basically, BRELA, it administers 6 laws. First, it is a Companies Act, Cap 212, which is revised in 2023. The second law is Business Names Act, which deals with the registration of the business names, which is owned by individuals, owned by partners, general partners, and corporation. And then, and in the aspect of the companies, basically we have 3 types of companies. First is private company, which is categorized in 2: private limited by shares, private limited by guarantees. Also, we have public company limited by shares, and public company limited by guarantee, which have in share capitals. Also, we have foreign companies. Foreign companies is a company which incorporated outside Tanzania and come here in Tanzania to do business, so it acquire compliance certificate. Also, we administer the Trade and Service Mark Act, which deal with the registration of the mark, logo, and services. Also, we administer the law which called the Patent Act, which deal with invention and innovation. Also, we administer the law which called the Business Licensing Act. Partly is governed by BRELA and other is governed by municipal. Basically, BRELA issues Class A of license. And last, we administer the Industrial Licensing Act. So this is, in few, this is as a thing which are governed by BRELA.
Okay, thank you. So in the context of startups and asset managers, fund managers, or investors, how are you as BRELA, as an enabling agency for compliance and making these entities all compliant in terms of their structure, how do you work with them, given that we are yet to have this formalization of venture capital and private equity legal framework?
BRELA as an overseas of the business in Tanzania, I think we should have a clear legal framework, which is flexible, clarity, and I think we should consider some elements such as we must recognize this venture vehicle, such as LPs, SPV, special purpose vehicle, and LP, limited liability partnership. Also, I think we should have a digital system,
Right.
for registration through online, because in worldwide now we are competing. So we must have a system which deals with registration, which provides simple procedures,
Fast tracking.
the process. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's really important, fast tracking the process so these corporates can continue operating. So in view of that, are you working closely with CMSA and agencies such the likes of the TISEZA to highlight these issues and the complexities or the bottlenecks that they form in absence of that? Do you work across government to ensure that we have that clarity for investors and startups alike?
Basically, we work together, and for instance, now when someone wants to register a company, everything is done through online.
Okay.
So it's called the ORS. The system is integrated with TRI, NIDA, and TISEZA. But now we are in the process of establishing the so-called single window,
Right.
which puts the government together. So in order when investor come, he will be able to when he visits TISEZA, everything will be completed there. There is no need to shift from one office to another office.
Right, yeah. Again, to just expedite the whole process and make it smooth and bring in some sort of clarity into the system. And so far, what do you see are the challenges? I mean, particularly with startups and when investors come to invest in Tanzania?
Basically, the challenge is, first one, we do not have a clear legal framework. As my brother Mbilo says that in Tanzania now we have no legal framework concerning the LLPs, limited liability partnership. But currently, the Companies Act is now under review, so we want to introduce this concept of the LLP.
Right.
Basically, a partnership now is governed under the law of contract, which is general partnership. There is no separation between individual and partner. So by introduction of LLPs, now I think there must be a separation between the partners, so the partners are limited to some extent compared to now. Now we have partners are unlimited. The another issue, the another challenge is, I think the use of system. Compared to other countries, for example, Kenya's and Uganda.
Yeah.
Tanzania, we are far back to other countries, so we need to upgrade from this side.
And how does the issue of beneficial owner play in this? In the sense that, obviously, in reviewing that act, I mean, are you working closely with maybe CMSA to align and make sure that, you know, there's alignment rather than you have two competing laws?
Basically, we have a beneficial ownership regulation, which is currently working, and now every company is supposed to review information. But the challenge is when you read the Anti-Money Laundering Act, it says a reporting person must have access to beneficial owner. But the regulation puts some limit. Only the competent authorities who will access the BO information. But lawyers are the one who's the reporting person, but the current regulation does not cut us for them to be available with the information. So I think it is a high time now to amend the regulation and to align with AMLA so as to capture the reporting person, also to access and advise, including lawyers, auditors, and so forth.
That's great. Well, thank you, because I definitely will be reaching out to all of you as Invest for Impact in Tanzania, which is a massive initiative that we're working on, and we have obviously agencies like TISEZA, Poppy on board as well, and it'll be really good to have a roundtable to have this discussion so we can get proper alignment and for startups to be able to operate and investors to be able to operate with clarity. So thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on board to kind of highlight some of the issues and maybe give clarity, and I'm sure we'll have these continuous discussion going on. And I've definitely taken a few key takeaways, and we'll be having these discussions, CMSA and Harry, yourself, as a key stakeholder, someone who's really well informed in this. So thank you so much. That's it for us for now, and I'll pass on the mic. Thank you all.
Thank you so much for that session. So before we proceed, can we all stand up? Can we all stand up? We're going to do some corporate stretch exercises. PG corporate. And as we're doing that, we have some of our startups that are out there having a booth. So they'll come here for like 2 minutes to say what they do after this. Wote tusimame tafadhali. I promise it's PG corporate, nothing weird. Okay, so this one is called CEO neck release. So let your right ear touch the right shoulder. Let your left ear touch the left shoulder. We go. Yes. And then again. Yes. And then round again. And this one also is called keyboard detox. We've seen all of you have been on your phones, taking videos, writing messages and notes. So you stretch your fingers, all hands. Yes. And then, yep. Yes. It's a keyboard detox. And then, with all hands. You've been using all hands today. So again, and then, see, I promised, PG corporate. So I'm gonna call Imara Life Care here for 3 minutes to just tell us what you do, your booth outside, and just 3 minutes exactly. Is that okay? kuna presentation ya Imara Life Care at the back. With presentation, will it be 3 minutes? Well, sure. Tuko tayari na presentation ya Imara. Well, you don't have, so you do it as an elevator pitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good afternoon to you all. My name is Dr. George. I'm from Foundation. And we are here with our new product, Imara Life Care. I wanted you to consider a scenario whereby one of the days that you had a loved one or a friend or a relative who is sick at home and you needed an ambulance and you were stranded, you did not know what to do. Or let's say you're burnout, you're stressed, you want a clinical psychologist, but you don't know where to start. You have a loved one who just had an operation and now they need rehabilitation. So it is a hassle to move from where you are to the hospital. You needed a physiotherapist, but you didn't know where to get one. This is where Imara Life Care comes in. It is actually a digital healthcare system which has several services that will actually help each and every one of us in this place or a person that you already know who needs it. So basically, we have taken the same old home-based healthcare and we have added a twist of technology to it. So this is the website, the application of which each and every one of us who is using a smartphone, a gadget, a laptop can actually log on to the website and actually get these services. So these services are such as nursing home-based healthcare, physiotherapy, as I mentioned, psychotherapy and mental health support, emergency services, nutritional services, plus health information. So think about the time that you needed any information about, let's say, your loved one who is suffering from diabetes or hypertension. So we know that prevention is better than cure, and this is why we have a special unit in our website and application that gives you health information that you need. So we do not only offer services that help people get better, but we also know that prevention is better than cure. So this is where you can get all the information that you need about the chronic diseases. So we also know that our hospitals are overcrowded. We know that there is a whole queue that you have to make to get a simple service. But also we know that there's a rising incidence of non-communicable diseases, as I mentioned earlier, hypertension and diabetes. But also the young people who are actually graduating every year from colleges, they are not getting employed straight away. So there is a huge gap in those areas. So we see that clients, in terms of the patients who need services, they are not getting them at the right way, at the right place. But also the young people who are graduating, they're unemployed. But the government at the same time is trying to reduce the overcrowding in hospitals. At the same time, they want everybody to get universal healthcare, quality healthcare. So these three areas are the areas that Imara Life Care is coming in to solve the problems. So clients, meaning the society, and then the employment, so young healthcare providers, and then of course the government, which indirectly has already have always wanted to solve the issue of unemployment, but also to give better health services. So basically, using the digital tools that we have created, the website and the application, you can get these services easily. You want your loved one to be transported from your home to the hospital or from the hospital back home, you can easily reach out to Imara Life Care. You can call or you can get on the website or you can use the application that will allow you to get these services quickly and efficiently. So trained healthcare providers who are vetted through the system, they will come to your doorstep and offer these services. So we mentioned the mental health crisis. We know that mental health is a challenge nowadays. You can actually get a certified clinical psychologist at just a click away. So you could be in your office, you could be back home, and you could actually get this service. Think about the young couple who wants premarital counseling. Think about conflicts that happen in marriages. You could actually get conflict resolution just through clicking the website and getting a link, and you'll be face-to-face with a clinical psychologist to help you out. So basically, Imara Life Care has come to revolutionize healthcare provision at home by actually making everything accessible at your palm of your hand. So this is the new thing that is coming in our country. And we want to encourage investors, we want to encourage stakeholders in tech, in MNOs, in banks to partner with Imara Life Care. Basically, this is the new thing that will change the lives of our country, and hand in hand will reduce all these problems that I mentioned earlier, the overcrowding, the unemployment, and actually the ease of service in our country. So with that, we would like to thank you for listening, and I now welcome questions if there are any. Karibuni.
Please, if there are questions, you could see them. They have a booth outside. If you have any questions, you could see them outside. Thank you, Imara. So I now call Asante. I now call forward Sky AI. Sky AI, yes, Karibu. They also have a booth outside. So if you need partnership, you need to have a conversation with them, you could just visit their booth and have a conversation.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Emma Alice Kizito. I am the COO and co-founder of Sky AI. Sky AI is an AI-powered platform for aviation management system with regulatory compliance built into the platform. So aviation compliance right now is still manual. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say a crew scheduler has to find a replacement pilot at 2 a.m. for a 6 a.m. flight. What they do now is go through other pilots' records, their duty hours, their rest hours, and check against the regulations. Now, one oversight can cause regulatory fines, it can cause a non-compliant flight, and also disruptions, which is not good. The current aviation systems that are there, they do not solve this. Compliance risk up to the operators. This is where Sky AI comes in. So what we do is we provide we embed aviation regulations into the platform. So in the scenario that I've given you, the user just goes, selects the flight, and then Sky AI will only show the pilots who are legal and able to fly at that time under the regulations, which makes compliance automatic, and it's embedded right at the plan of action. Our team, we are two of us. The CEO is Mr. Eric. He is our technical director, and also he's the CEO. He has worked with the EAC and the GIZ in some of their software developments. I am an aeronautical engineer and a compliance officer at Oricare, the largest fleet operator here in Tanzania. I also co-built Sky AI. And I make sure that our platform aligns with the regulatory realities of aviation. Our company traction, within the last 60 days, we have been able to get 2 B2B clients on an yearly plan. We've also been able to secure $4,000 in annual revenue, annual recurring revenue, and also we have been able to grow our cash growth month on month by 100%. Thank you. One of the key insights we have is that right now, global software, aviation software is just an empty box. They just help aviation companies store their data. But what we do, we close the gap between understanding the rules and applying the rules correctly in day-to-day operational needs. So that's what we work on. Our market size, aviation companies pay aviation software systems $11.5 billion globally, and that's our total addressable market. Our serviceable market is within Middle East and Africa, which is some of the highest growing aviation regions, but still underserved, with a value of 1.2 billion. And within the next 3 to 5 years, our goal is to have a serviceable obtainable market of around $2.3 million by onboarding 18 to 23 operators within East Africa. Our revenue, before I go to the ask, our revenue, we're a B2B SaaS platform on a yearly subscription plan. Our scalability is easy because aviation regulation is already embedded in the system. So we just have to add more users, we have to update the regulations, and also expand regionally. Our core engine still remains the same. We are asking for $20,000 in our initial angel round. This will help us finalize our MVP to a scalable V1 and also to do corporate restructuring and register Sky Air as a US Delaware C Corp. Conclusively, I would like to say that aviation is one of the most highly regulated industries in the world, and compliance mistakes are very costly and create operational risk. Sky AI, we do not only help aviation companies manage their data, but we also make sure compliance is enforceable at the point of action. Our early users have proven that they are willing to pay for that value. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. You could also see them outside. They just have a booth outside here. So if you're looking, any way you could help. As a starting startup, you could probably be a mentor. You could probably be part of the board. You could probably help them with regulations. You could probably help them with seed funding. You could also partner with them. It's an opportunity for us all, the investors in the room, the regulators in the room, the corporates in the room. You could join their team to help them drive the market, build business strategies, and things like that. These are things you could take forward. So I'd like to call the next exhibitor, which is Worker Payment, if they're in the room. Yeah. Round of applause for them.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Francis Katambi, and I am a co-founder but also operation lead at WorkerPay. WorkerPay, we are a regulated, full compliant fintech here in Tanzania by BOT, TCRA, also the Data Protection Commission. So basically what we do, we help you if you travel to any African countries and you want to pay merchants. For example, you go to Kenya. If you go to Kenya right now, you have to transfer your money to a Safaricom or M-Pesa wallet for Kenya in order to do transaction, which for Kenya is about 90% of transactions are done by M-Pesa or Lipa numbers, those Lipa numbers. So we help you with your Tigo Pesa mixed by us, Hello Pesa, M-Pesa here in Tanzania. If you go to Kenya, you can use your M-Pesa, your mixed by us wallets and pay directly to a Lipa number in Kenya. To a merchant in Kenya, you go to a supermarket, you hail a ride on Bolt, you go to buy, I don't know, a beer, water, you can pay directly without switching your SIM card. So the gap quickly, so pay merchants between African countries is very slow, expensive, and full of friction. And this is not because we encountered ourselves as founders, but we actually went and talked to people at the borders who regularly do transaction between two countries or in East Africa. I'm saying Tanzania and Kenya because this is our pilot corridor. And the current solution we have right now when we do this transaction or when we travel between African countries, we have to do SIM swaps. If you go to, I don't know, Uganda, you have to get a Momo SIM card in order to do any sort of transaction there. But also, there's a lot of agents which charge a lot of fees. There's a lot of hidden fees which at the end of the day, they just tell you, like, you have to pay this in order to get this amount in their maybe Kenyan shillings or Rwandan shillings. But also delayed payments. Sometimes you pay today, you get maybe after 2 days, 2 weeks. So all of that friction leads to slow trade and everyday payments. Okay, so the value we're trying to tap in is actually it's 220 billion of African trade has reached in 2024. So there's a lot of transaction happening between African countries, but how the transaction is done has been a problem and has a lot of problems which eventually restrict or hinder this kind of transaction. But also bilateral trade between large, for example, for us as a pilot corridor is Tanzania and Kenya. So for bilateral between Tanzania and Kenya, as for the report of 2021, it was about 905 million. And export to Kenya was up to 2024 was up to 320 million. So you can see the value we're trying to tap in, but also the problem we're trying to solve. So our solution, quickly, so worker payment, for example, and as I said, our pilot is between Tanzania and Kenya. So instant payment, so you pay in Tanzanian shillings, meaning you're using your Mixed by Yes wallet, you're using your Airtel Money wallet, you're using your M-Pesa wallet. You pay in Tanzanian shillings, but the merchants in Kenya through the Lipa number receive the money in Kenyan shillings. So we handle, so no swim swap, no agents, no FX hassle, no foreign exchange hassle. You don't have to like trying to figure out what is the exchange rate for today. We give all that, as you can see. If you want to pay 260 Kenyan shillings, we give you the exchange rates, the converted amount, and the fees. So you have everything in your conscious. So you pay the amount, you put your mercantile number. Also optional, you can put the mobile phone in order for communication, and you can directly pay. Okay. Also, not only you can pay the merchants in Kenya, as for our pilot between Tanzania and Kenya, you can also pay utility or bill payments in Kenya. So you have a family in Kenya, you're working here, you can easily, they send you the bill number, or you have the bill number, you can pay directly. You don't have to send them and then they pay. You can pay the bill or the utility directly to Kenya. But also, as we're doing our pilot line right now, the first 2 transactions as you like onboarded will be free. So we'll cover your transaction fee as we're doing this pilot. So your transaction fee will cover it. The first 2 transactions will cover. So this is our hope for you. Hopefully after this, you can onboard and maybe share this to people who travel to Kenya, and they can make use of this solution. So our mission basically is to fuel African trade and unlock growth across Africa. So as I said, Tanzania and Kenya, this is our pilot corridor. So at the end of Q3 next year, we'll be in all of East Africa, and not just sending money. We have offices in Kenya, so we'll be having offices in Rwanda, we'll be having offices in Zambia, but also Zimbabwe, which we think, as you can see on the map there. So right now, as for a corridor, SMEs in Tanzania can pay Kenyan suppliers easily through Lipa numbers. Kenyan business can open up to Tanzanian users. So you can see the value there. So now the Kenyan's business can open up. Like now I can sell you stuff because you are able to pay easily. But eventually facilitate economic connectivity and digital trade. So how you can get started using worker pay? So it's very, very simple. As for now, we are P2P, meaning like P2P and P2B, meaning as an individual, you can pay to merchants. Later on, we can go on. We are planning to go to B, but we are starting with P2B. So it's very easy. Even right now, you can scan and get started. But the process are 3 steps. Register, you use your phone number that you have right now, which will be directly connected to Worker Pay.
1 more minute. 1 more minute.
Sure,
Thank you.
I'm finishing up. Then you do identity verification. So any kind of IDs you have, government issued, NDA, driving license, passport, and you can proceed to pay merchants or bill payments. So this is our priority. You can do payment, but you can also send. We have that feature. But this is our edge. So that's it. You can download WorkerPay now. I'm looking for paying customers, and if you want to talk about partnership, you want to know how to get into this. But if also you have something you can add to us in terms of opinions, feedback, we are out there at the booth. You're welcome, and thank you.
Thank you. A round of applause for him has come down. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay. So before I call the next session, we have a little bit of announcement and a reminder again. Tomorrow, we are graced to have several government leaders who will join us just to engage in the discussions as we have been pioneering the DIRA 2050. And looking at how the startup ecosystem can be a primary catalyst for the $1 trillion economy. Your input, your insights tomorrow would be helpful on areas the government could improve, could do things better to ensure that we actually achieve the goals and aspiration of DIRA 2050. So please come all and come with a friend, a corporate colleague, and whoever you think is necessary to be in this conversation. And then for the startups, we wanted to do an exercise we did yesterday for those who were here, startups pitching and doing some sort of a crowdfunding. We will do it tomorrow, hoping that with the government present, you'd get more money. So TransPay, Brick, and Shule app, please prepare to have your pitch competition tomorrow. And then now we are having a session for women, financial inclusion and access to finance by our partner, Graka Trust, Women Creating Wealth. We've seen, I think Emma was the only female founder, actually co-founder, that we've seen pitching. So I'm really excited for this conversation to see how this will drive. So I'd like to call Ms. Subira Boji from Graka Trust, who will lead the whole session for the next maybe 1 hour and 30 minutes, and we'll close very early today. A round of applause for her as she comes forward.
Asante sana. Habari za mchana. Good afternoon. Before I speak, can I just ask the team to play the video? Thank you.
Across Africa, women are creating businesses that color their communities with hope and opportunity. Africa is home to the highest rate of women and youth entrepreneurship in the world. Nearly 60% of entrepreneurs are women, yet too many remain locked out of opportunity. Low confidence keeps many from setting bold goals. Limited finance and lack of collateral lock them out of funding. Others struggle to scale, missing the networks, mentorship, and business systems they need to grow, and facing poor access to markets or the ability to meet market demand. As a result, women-owned businesses grow more slowly, typically by only 10 to 15%, and are more likely to close than those owned by men. Yet, this is not a story of failure. It's a story of untapped potential. The Grasa Machel Trust created the Women Creating Wealth Ignite program to change this, enabling women to move from surviving to thriving, and from income generation to true wealth creation. Our approach tackles both sides of the equation. We strengthen what is within her control, her mindset, confidence, and business skills, while addressing what is not, the systemic barriers that require collective influence. Because lasting transformation happens when personal growth meets systems change. Through the Ignite learning phase, entrepreneurs strengthen their confidence, refine their business models, and gain the skills to grow. They learn to systemize operations, manage finances, and prepare for markets and investors, building 3-year growth plans that turn ambition into action. What makes the program truly powerful is the master mentorship model. Women who have completed the program return as champions, mentoring and walking alongside new entrepreneurs. Each story of growth becomes a source of wisdom, creating a living network where transformation multiplies, one woman enabling another, one generation lifting the next. Then comes technical coaching, where learning turns into practice. Entrepreneurs receive tailored guidance from expert coaches who help them implement strategies, strengthen operations, and build systems for scale and sustainability. Graduates become WCW certified entrepreneurs, confident, credible, and connected. They continue to grow within the WCW business community, scaling enterprises, mentoring others, and driving impact across Africa. From aspiration to action, from learning to leadership. Women Creating Wealth is transforming Africa's future. One entrepreneur, one community, and one generation at a time.
Thank you so much. So you've seen what the Grasa Masal Trust Women Creating Wealth program is all about, but that's in just the video. So we want to bring you somebody who has gone through the program. Hapa hapa Tanzania, ni Mtanzania mwenzetu, kwenye biashara yake imemsaidia nini. So allow, and she has a booth outside. So allow me to welcome Nuru Lema to just come give us a pitch about her business, and then we'll go on with the session. Can we, before she comes, I would like us just all to rise up, but in the following order. All the women in the room, please stand up. All the women in the room. And if you're next to another one, just high five, say hongera, just to give them high five, hongera, mbele nyuma. All the women in the room. I want to also see if we're majority or minority, like the figures we've been hearing. So all the women in the room are standing. Yes. Now can you please have all the gentlemen in the room rise? Please stand up, kindly. You're allowed to high five your neighbor. Just say hongera. Hongera for a lot of things, for being here, for starting the business, for even showing up. And I know we're in between lunch. This session is between lunch and you, but we'll try to make sure it's as short and impactful as possible. There are some gentlemen ambao wamekaa. Kama una miguu unaweza kusimama, please just rise up. Just for like a minute. Now as we are rising and as we are standing, can we all just clap our hands until Nuru arrives here as she comes and gives her pitch? Let us clap our hands for Nuru. Mpaka ashike mic ndo tutaweza kuacha na kuketi.
Thank you very much. You can have your seat. As introduced, my names are Nuru Lema. I am the founder and CEO of Yanacop. Yanacop is an ICT company. It's based in Tanzania and Zanzibar. Na ni kampuni ya kizalendo ya kitanzania kabisa. Tunapatikana Kinondoni at the estate, that's where our offices are. Lakini with Zanzibar, we've partnered with ZSA. Thank you for that, ZSA. So we actually use their office in Zanzibar. And Yanacop is an ICT company, just as stated, so we have a number of services. One of the services that we provide is development of softwares. So what we do is development. We also do hosting, domain registration, and a good number of other services. One of the solutions that we have developed currently in the past 2 years is Shule App. So Shule App is a comprehensive school management system which is actually meant to au imetengenezwa kwa ajili ya kurahisisha majukumu ya mashuleni. Kwa hiyo tunachokifanya ni kupeleka mfumo ili kurahisisha zile tasks za mashuleni tofauti. And before I proceed, I am a WCW certified entrepreneur, and in the past 2 years nisingeweza kusimama hapa hivi. I was very shy. I didn't know what to say. I never knew how to begin. Lakini with the program that the video just played, they have provided me with skills not only on entrepreneurship, but also on personal mastery. So I encourage all women in the room, if you have a business, you are expecting to start a business soon, you can actually join the program. I'm a great ambassador for the Graca Machel Women Creating Wealthy program. Okay, so the problem of most schools is they don't have proper way of administering the task, but also the storage is quite poor or sometimes limited to the resources they have. So with Shule app, is a comprehensive school management system. It helps them in these challenges. And what it does, it has a number of modules whereby it caters for all the important departments in a school, talking about attendance, student records, parent records, accounts, HR, payroll, name them all. And it also has an inbuilt communication, a tool whereby staff, parents, teachers, and other non-teaching staff can actually communicate without going to other modes of communication. But it also provides reports. So for those accountants who need to have daily, weekly or monthly reports, they can easily get it through the Shule app. And this is how it looks, and this is the dashboard. As we see, it has a number of modules and some modules as well. And those are the number of modules we have, but we have currently also increased payment mode, whereby the parents can actually pay directly through different modes of payment indicated MNO and a limited number of banks that we have agreed. And our business model is annual subscription. So tunachokifanya tunawapatia mashule, wale mashule, the schools, they pay annually, and most of the schools currently only pay, sometimes pay twice a year. So they pay the initial payment, January, February time, and then June, July, second payment. That is our first module, business module that we use. But also there are some premium features in the school management system. We provide with the basic features. Now with the premium features, the school, that particular school would need to add some more fee. Or if a parents need an extra access of details and the school can allow that, then we automatically will charge the parent through that. And the last model, business model, is transactional based, whereby now the fee, ile kodi ya miamala inayopita, that is also another payment business model we use. Yeah. We started around 2023, which was finalizing the development and also So we've changed the module from the general to specific students. So we quote them per student. How many students do you have? You have 100 students. So each student is required to pay 8,000. Each student is required to pay 10,000. Depends with the number of students. That is how we go about it. I don't know if I've answered your question.
Asante, we have a, can I have the usher? Sorry, is your question, you're great? You're satisfied? Can we have an usher bring a mic on this side? There's a hand here. Do we have ushers in the room? If not, yeah, please help me with the lady here. Na please usisahau kujitambulisha.
Thanks a lot, Noro. My name's Munira Chambuso from Absa Bank, Tanzania. My question is specifically on the schools. What is your, target, primary or secondary or university? And for the secondary or primary, for the most of the government schools, they don't have facilities to access these kinds of applications. How are you going to make them part of your inclusiveness program of the app? Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Munira, for a good question. And by the way, we are your customers with a She account. Okay, so our target currently is private schools, strictly private schools. Lakini tuko kwenye mazungumzo with Wizara ya Elimu before the changeover of the minister and everything. Tulikuwa kwenye mazungumzo to see on how we can actually integrate Shule app with the system they have, because the government have a system. Lakini the system is more based with the teachers. Iko based na staff. So we were looking on how we can integrate Shule app to see on the best approach to go about it. Currently, the customers we have are private schools, and our target mostly is private school, because government schools, as you say, it's a little bit tricky when it comes to implementing something new. You need to go in a long road. Yes. Does that answer your question, Munira? Okay.
Thank you so much. One more. Okay, thank you so much. Naomba tumpigie makofi as she goes back to take her great seat. Makofi naona kama hayatoshi jamani. Do you know what it means to do this? So now we're going to have a keynote. As you heard earlier that this session is about women and inclusivity. So now we're going to have a keynote address. She's going to talk about women's financial inclusion and access to finance. And allow me a few minutes to read her bio. The main reason I'm reading this bio is because we need to see what is actually being done in Tanzania and globally. She's been part of it. So I'm just going to read her bio before I bring her on stage. Her name is Ms. Nangi Masawe. She is the Financial Inclusion Manager at Bank of Tanzania. So Benki Kuu iko hapa leo. She's leading national initiatives to expand access to quality financial services, particularly for underserved groups such as women, youth, persons with disabilities, rural communities, and informal sector workers. She guides inclusive finance policies. She drives innovation through the regulatory sandbox central bank digital currency, known as CBDC, cryptocurrency initiatives, and financial inclusion databases, and advises the President of the United Republic of Tanzania on the United Nations Generation Equality Initiative. Masawe is the Vice President and the founder of the Tanzania Association of Women in Finance. She chairs the National Secretariat for Financial Inclusion and serves in the multiple national and international roles, including with the African Women Leaders Network, World Bank Housing Finance Project, and the Credit Guarantee Scheme, supporting over 1,800 businesses. She has received several awards and worked with organizations such as Alliance for Financial Inclusion, AFI, International Network on Financial Education, and Financial Sector Deepening Trust, FSDT. And on all this, she holds a Master's of Business Administration from Jackson State University. Naomba tumpigie makofi as she comes on stage to give us a keynote. Miss Nangi Masawe, karibu sana mama. Naomba tupige makofi mpaka afike hapa. Ametoka benki kuu, imagine. We are so excited.
Habari za mchana. Naona amenipamba sana ambavyo amepitiliza. Na sikuja na hela sasa. So as she said, my name is Nangi Masawe from Bank of Tanzania. I'm here to deliver the keynote address on behalf of the Deputy Governor, Ms. Sauda, who was supposed to be here with you today, but I think she traveled. So she assigned me to come and deliver this keynote address. Without wasting much of your time, I know, as she said, I'm standing between you and your lunch. So I don't want to take much time of yours. So I'll go straight to the keynote address. And I hope all protocols has been observed, if there is any. So according to DG Sauda Msemo, she said, "It's my great honor to join you today for this important dialogue on women's financial inclusion and access to finance, with a special focus on how gender lens, investing, and impact capital can unlock new opportunities for women-led enterprises across Tanzania." I commend the organizers and our partners, including Grata Marshall Trust, for convening this strategic platform to address one of the most persistent constraints to inclusive economic growth for the gender financing gap. As Tanzania advances towards Vision 2050, it is essential that women are not only included in our economy, but fully empowered as leaders, innovators, curators, and drivers of national transformation. The empowerment of women in financial sector is consistent with our national strategies, including National Financial Inclusion Framework 2023-2028, the Financial Sector Development Master Plan 2020-21 to up to 2930, and Zanzibar Development Vision 2050. Across Tanzania today, women continue to lead micro and small businesses in trade, agriculture, hospitality, manufacturing, creative industries, and digital commerce. We also see women entering high growth fields such as fintech logistics, agri-tech, and export markets. Yet, despite these central economic roles, women still face notable challenges in accessing affordable credits, venture capital, and equity financing. Many struggle to meet collateral requirements due to limited ownership of land and assets, and significant number lack digital financial identity or formal transactions history. Women entrepreneurs also encounter additional barriers when competing for a larger contract. Investment pipelines, and opportunities within formal value chain. These obstacles are not a reflection of women's potential. Rather, they reveal structural challenges within our financial ecosystem that require coordinated interventions. Tanzania has made commendable progress in expanding financial inclusion through strong public-private collaboration under the National Council for Financial Inclusion. According to the FinScope Tanzania 2023 survey, access to formal financial services increased from 86% in 2017 to 89% in 2023, while usage of formal financial services rose from 65% to 76% over the same period. These achievements have significantly narrowed the gender gap in financial inclusion from 10% in 2017 to 3.6% in 2023. This progress partly attributed to the work of Women Affairs Committee of Financial Inclusion, WACFI, which has championed gender-focused policies and programs. Nevertheless, women remain disproportionately excluded in terms of access to credit facilities, accounting for only 11% of total banking sector loan portfolio. This gap is further worsened by limited ownership of formal assets. Only 7% of Tanzanians have formal documentation for land or property, with women accounting for a mere 2% compared to 13% for men. While women's borrowing from banks, microfinance institutions, SACCOs, and the local councils have shown improvement, gap remain particularly visible in access to digital credits. FinScope 2023 shows that 4.4 million men versus 3.0 million women access digital loans valued to TZ shillings 815 billion and 386 billion respectively. Gender gap persists across other formal financial services as well, including mobile money, banking, insurance, and pensions. These disparities illustrate that although progress has been made, women are still underserved in critical areas of financial sector, limiting their ability to participate fully in the formal and the digital economy. Global evidence continued to affirm that financing women is smart economies. Women entrepreneurs consistently demonstrate higher repayment rates, stronger reinvestment in families and communities, and greater business resilience. When we finance women, we accelerate national development. Removing barriers to finance unlock a trillion shillings opportunities for Tanzania. This is not simply a matter of fairness, it is proven investment in productivity, growth, and long-term economic stability. The Bank of Tanzania is deeply committed to strengthening the financial ecosystem to ensure that women have equal opportunity to participate and prosper. Our interventions include promoting gender representation and inclusive leadership within financial sector, enforcing the provision of sex disaggregated data for evidence-based policymaking, enhancing consumer protection framework, particularly for women, expanding digital payment infrastructure, including Tanzania instant payment system, TIPS, and supporting fintech innovation through regulatory sandbox that encouraged market solution tailored to women and underserved groups. These initiatives aligned with the National Financial Inclusion Framework 23-28 and contribute directly to our broader development aspirations. Genderless investing, GLI, presents a transformative pathway to accelerate women enterprise growth. GLI is not charity. It is an investment approach that integrates gender consideration to improve financial returns while advancing equality.